Amidst our fight against Pakistan-backed terror in Poonch, something completely unacceptable has happened. 3 civilians have mysteriously lost their lives after the terror attack, and the army has initiated search operations. The army has also committed full support and cooperation in conduct of investigations. The government is informed that legal action is being taken in the incident by the appropriate authorities, and compensation and jobs for the families have also been offered. This is certainly a huge setback, and action and accountability must be ensured. There is an actual threat of overground workers of terror outfits, but civilians cannot be beaten to death. To further deliberate on the matter, let's quickly go across to our special guest joining us. Wing Commander Praful Bakshi, former Chief Spokesperson Indian Air Force, is live with us. Also with us is Major General Shashi Asthana, former Additional DG Infantry. Also with us is Major General PK Sehgal, Strategic Affairs Analyst. Also with us is Major Mohammad Ali Shah, Defence Expert. Let me begin with you first. Wing Commander Bakshi, on your take on this incident, what really transpired there?
Thank you, Uday. This is a very serious matter, and as we had discussed earlier, we have been talking about it. What was the situation of security in the valley? Well, generally the people said, "Oh, it's all improving." Yes, 370 had improved certain aspect of the valley, but not this law and this sort of a security situation had not improved, because there has been constant threat to the armed forces, constant attack has been going on, sleeper cells are constantly active, and there was a very unnerving amount of constancy into the whole affair. But question here lies is that even now, after our soldiers were martyred and during interrogation, it has been reported 3 civilians have been killed. Well, it has been reported, if they have been beaten to death, that is a crime, no doubt about it. But have they been beaten to death? Has it been proven? Or is it just that they were taken for interrogation and then they were found dead? Now, these are two different things, because the other side is very wily. They can even kill their own people and produce them as evidence that they are killed our people. You never know to what level the other side can go. So we have to investigate very, very thoroughly to find the truth. But having found the truth once, the complete punishment should be meted out, no doubt about it. Whatever the book says, they should be given. But provided we don't try to play up to the gallery and do the same thing what we did to the soldier who shot the intruding car during the Pulwama, and he's been suffering in jail since then. Let us not have that sort of a pussyfooting and mammy effect. We should do it boldly. If our soldiers have done wrong, they will be punished. If they are not done wrong, then thorough investigation should be done into the civil affair. And let me tell you, until and unless you have this valley under one command and control, these things will continue. I said this yesterday, today this thing has happened. I am telling you, more things of this nature will happen to put army on the wrong foot, to put our nation on the wrong foot, because other side knows how it pinches the democratic machinery, and they're very happy to do it. Nobody knows who all are involved in this second act of killing the civilians. This has to be investigated. Let us not take it for granted that they were killed during interrogation. It is possible, so take that action. But I am quite certain that there is more to it what meets the eye.
Major Shashi Asthana, what is your take on the incident, and what you believe now should be the follow-up steps taken?
Is there a question to me?
Major General Asthana, it's to you.
Okay. Firstly, my sympathies to all the families of the 3 civilians. Also, the families of the soldiers who have fallen in line of duty earlier, and those who have been injured and who are getting treated in the hospital. As far as this incident is concerned, incident is under investigation. We should not be jumping to any conclusion. Whenever an incident like this happens, there will be investigations by the civil authorities. There will also be investigation by the military authorities. And military authorities so far have done investigations even faster and more credible, and taken actions as per our SOPs and procedures, as well as per the Army Act, whenever there was a case of this kind. Now, as far as this particular case is concerned, there is no doubt that terrorists did stay in that area to launch this operation. There is also no doubt that going by the fact that the sympathizers don't exist in that area because of the peculiar demography, that won't be wrong. The fact that an incident has taken place, there must be sympathizers, and therefore the activity to finally investigate and to interrogate certain suspects would also continue and is essential. Yes, in case there has been an excessive use of force and it comes out in that manner, we have adequate measures. We have taken certain actions. In case of, we would have heard of the case of the para commandos going wrong or in the error of judgment there. So there were actions taken. Similarly, army so far, I think the record of Indian Army is absolutely clear that any act which is not as per our teachings and any violation of discipline, that is taken very seriously. And I'm sure that this investigations will continue. And we would be commenting more after the investigations and not earlier. Till then, I think the rhetoric, the politicization of the issues will only help the terrorists and Pakistanis who are trying to do all kinds of games. As was brought out, I am very clear, not necessarily that they have been taken for interrogation does not mean that they have been killed by people, by the people who have done investigation. These two are two separate things which will have to be investigated and brought to forefront as to what exactly happened. Uday.
Yes, so let me also, in fact, quickly take that now across to Major General Sehgal as well. Major General Sehgal, what sort of inquiry now is needed? What do you believe transpired? What has led to these 3 civilians losing their lives?
Whatever be the circumstances, killing of civilians or deaths of civilians is absolutely and totally unacceptable. In that area, the Gujars and Bakarwals have been the strongest and the staunchest supporters of the Indian Army and the Indian nation since 1948. 99% of them are absolutely, totally pro-India and are Deshbhakt. 1% could be wavered. That notwithstanding, no custodial deaths whatsoever is acceptable. I'm very certain the Indian Army is renowned for its character, its integrity, its discipline, compassion and sensitivity. This could be a blot on the Indian Army. It will be very thoroughly investigated in a very transparent manner. And I'm sure that anybody who's found guilty would be dealt with in a very transparent manner so that civilians have no doubt that the Army stands by its ethics, it has stand by its morals and stand by its discipline, and under no circumstances will allow a thing of this variety. I'm very glad that the government has acted very strongly and very quickly. The families have been compensated to the extent that lives cannot be regained, but some sort of a compensation has been given, and one member of each of those affected families have been given a government job. All that notwithstanding, a very transparent and a very thorough investigation needs to be put through as soon as possible. And investigation must be completed in a reasonable time frame, in the sense that not more than 15 to 20, 25 days at the very maximum. And those who are found guilty have to be taken care of. There's no doubt in my mind at all. Uday.
All right, let me in fact quickly go across to Major Mohammad Ali Shah for his take as well. Major Shah, what do you believe now should be the next steps forward, considering that obviously there is outrage over these civilian deaths?
Okay, Uday, firstly, I totally concur with my 3 illustrious seniors who are sitting on the panel, and I think they have brought out some very, very valid and very genuine points. Now, Uday, I would like to tell you, when I was posted in the northeast, I had come from Jammu Kashmir to the northeast part of India, in fact, Nagaland, Manipur. That time, both the regions had Armed Forces Special Power Act, which meant we could arrest anyone without any arrest warrant and search anyone without any search warrant. Now, the very fact is, my GOC over there were very strict about these things. He issued clear orders that there should be something called as the Stockholm Syndrome. Now, what does the Stockholm Syndrome say? Stockholm Syndrome, this term was coined by Patty Hearst, a millionaire's daughter. and where she was kidnapped, but the next day she was out with the kidnappers for a robbery. Why? Because they won over her heart. Now, our GOC was very clear in Manipur, especially when you catch an insurgent, you the person would be expecting to be perhaps tortured or getting third degree from the army. But that is not the way you should be treating a civilian because they are our own people. Now, the matter over here is regarding Jammu Kashmir. It's under investigation, as General Asana said. It is too early to jump to any conclusion right now because unless and until a proper thorough investigation from the army and from the civil agencies takes place, we cannot rule out exactly what had happened. Secondly, as General Sehgal rightly said, yes, the government acted very swiftly and very quickly. You cannot compensate the loss of a human life, but they straight away put forward a 10 lakh compensation for the civilians who were killed. And my heart goes out to the people who have been killed, the civilians and the soldiers. So my heartfelt condolence to the bereaved families of the soldiers as well as the civilians. In fact, so this matter, once a thorough inquiry is conducted, and if at all, anyone is found guilty in the inquiry, that person, irrespective wherever he is, whichever organization he belongs to, should be given the harshest punishment so that a case, an example is made over here. But if after inquiry, it is found that there is a clean sheet given, and nobody is actually guilty. It happened for some other reason, as Wing Commander Praful Bakshi said. Those people are quite capable also. The terrorists from Pakistan who actually kill their own people to malign the army's image. If that is the case, then I do not think that army should be held accountable for this. Now, I'll give the case of the example of our fellow panelists rightly mentioned about the para commandos doing a botched up operation in Manipur earlier that happened, which had come into light. And we have spoken about it. Well, when a court or inquiry takes place, and a person is proved guilty, there is no question about the person being spared. The harshest punishment should be given straight away. Now that area of Gujars, yes, it is infested. The terrorist activity was planned in that general area. Okay, fine. But again, we have to understand one thing. When we do an operation against the external enemy, say Pakistan or China, those are different people. But here, they are Indian, they are of Indian passport holders, be it Manipur, be it Jammu Kashmir, be it anywhere. So a terrorist or a militant, ultimately at the end of the day, he is a Indian passport holder, but should be dealt with in the most strict manner, no doubt. And sympathizers of them, the overground workers, for example, they are, if we have to say there are no overground workers, we would be kidding. They are people who support them. They are people, they're sympathizers, they're empathizers. They also should be brought to the book. But once again, I reinstate the fact, and I would conclude by saying that a third degree, if at all, wherever it happens, say even for example, I've heard in films I've seen, the police giving third degree, for example, I'm giving an example. Third degree, wherever it is, should not be encouraged at all. There should be more encouragement towards the Stockholm syndrome, or the Stockholm syndrome in reverse also is a phenomenon, of course I know. But when you take someone captive for questioning, and if you treat them with respect, you are likely to win over people. And I'm concluding by saying, by winning hearts and minds is the way forward there.
Absolutely. Well, let me, in fact, go back across to Wing Commander Bakshi. Wing Commander Bakshi, also this comes at a time when we are obviously needing to unite, against Pakistan and their proxies. It comes after this audacious attack in Poonch. And this would, just be a distraction and would be not something we would have needed at this point, isn't it, Wing Commander Bakshi?
Absolutely right, Uday. You are right on this point that Pakistan at the moment is looking for rapprochement. Pakistan public is looking for rapprochement, even the Pakistan army. But it did by making statements that we are looking for rapprochement is not sufficient, because there is a very strong section in the Pakistan army, ISI and mullah elements together. They are not going to rest. They will continue. They have got a good stock of foreign supplies of arms which are left from Afghanistan and goods of stock of people who are coming, foreigners coming into it. So they will continue infiltrating, continue doing their activities. So our initial investigation on the previous action should continue. We should continue looking into the sleeper cells, how active they were. It is from that you will come to know about this incident. There will be connection in that. So we must not discontinue that and start this one. They both must go together, and they should be totally dealt separately so that the connection is found. Because Pakistan at the moment, I fully agree, is wanting a rapprochement. We can start a talk with Pakistan. We can start. There is no doubt about it. Pakistan probably will welcome it, but it does not mean we lower our guards. It does not mean. I had suggested earlier that we must continue attacking their positions from where they are launching. In fact, we should be occupying a few of that. And then the talk with Pakistan continues. We must tell them we are very serious about it, but we are also very serious about dialogue. Two things can go together. You can walk and you can fire. You can do both. So that is what I am trying to tell you, that we have to take it very seriously, and let us not be in a hurry to, find scapegoats and quickly punish to please the public and please the political parties that we have punished our people. No, that will be wrong. That will be demoralizing the forces and lower the prestige of army. We should refrain from doing it. We have done enough in the past and we have harmed ourselves. So we should not do it. We should not even call our soldiers they have done anything wrong till they have proven they have done something wrong. Continue talks with Pakistan, but take your stand very firmly as I have been suggesting.
Okay, let me in fact quickly take that across to Major Lesthana once again. Major Lesthana, now what should be the form of this inquiry? What should be the timeline within which it should be completed, Major Lesthana?
See, the army inquiry, I am very sure, will get completed very fast. As far as the civil inquiry is concerned, it may take some time because it will also involve many other agencies and factors. Also, let me tell you, with my experience as DG Infantry, we used to have a whole lot of complaints. This is a very sensitive and serious incident, but this is an incident. And incidents like this in counter-insurgency environment and in counter-terrorism environment, they do happen and they continue to happen. And this is not the last incident and not the first. So there have been many cases, and the percentage of the cases where we found when we actually investigated, the cases were also a number of times cooked up by the terrorists and their supporters, and therefore the number of actual cases which were pursued even by them were not very many. So therefore this case will also, once it is investigated, once we get to know as to what exactly happened, then I'm sure the actions will be taken. That's one part of it. Secondly, getting on to the bigger picture, there is a case of the terrorists trying to put brakes on the subsequent operation of the military in that area, because they know that there will be operations. And this is a clear-cut case study because the moment you put military forces in a human right violation case, then the initiative of a number of officers, because of the legal hassles, it gets curbed in some manner or the other in case it is not handled properly. So therefore, I'm sure it will be handled with all the sensitivities. And as Praful was mentioning, we should not be in a hurry to punish unless proven guilty. That is very important. And similarly, on the other side also, we should be looking at more linkages in case it has been done by the terrorists themselves to be posed as a case of an awkward kind of or third degree investigation or something like that. So let's wait out. And as I said, it's too early. Let's not jump the gun. And even my appeal to all the human rights activists and all the political parties and everybody is that don't give a chance to the other country and to the enemies of the country to make the best of the episode. Because invariably, in our exuberance of trying to get justice fast, we'll end up helping the other side. Now, that I think will be not in the best interest of the country. Uday.
General Sehgal, your closing comment on the way ahead, what you would expect from this probe and the timeline within which you would expect it to be completed.
The timeline has to be for variety, wherein the credibility of the army does not suffer under any circumstances. There will be two separate inquiries, one by the civilian administration and secondly by the army. The army inquiry invariably is much faster. We will arrive at a certain decision, but that notwithstanding, in almost about 100% cases earlier, it's been found that army has been unnecessarily been put on the table or put on the mat, where the other side was involved. We cannot please the civilians. We cannot displease the civilians either. We got to be very careful that this issue is not allowed to be politicized. But the inquiry has to be transparent and absolutely and totally fair and impartial. Because only an impartial and fair inquiry will lend credibility, and we will continue to be supported by the Gujars and the Bakarwals like the way they supported us in 1948, 65, 71 war. They were the strongest supporters and staunchest supporters of the Indian nation and the Indian army. We can ill afford the luxury of having them turning against us. I'm very certain the army will keep in mind our discipline, ethics, morals is appreciated the world over. And under no circumstances will we allow any sort of a blot on this. And I'm very, very certain the army will not try to hide anything under any circumstances. But let's see what the investigation brings out, because lots of videos are being circulated. Those videos on the social media, they could be all fake videos. We cannot believe in them, but yet you cannot ignore them either.
Okay, let me go to Major Ali Shah for the last word. I'll leave the last word to you, Major Mohammad Ali Shah.
Right, Uday, as General Sehgal rightly said, a lot of videos are being floated around on social media. We cannot rule out the credibility of those videos. We don't know how true they are. It could be a propaganda. Let us not fall prey into the propaganda of the enemy of Pakistan's hands. Let's wait and watch what the inquiry results come out to be. And I'm certain of the fact that a strong, credible organization like the Indian Army will maintain its ethos. They will not hide anything. They will come out clean with what exactly has happened. They will report it as per facts. And we should continue having faith in our armed forces. I have my hunch says, not because I had served in the army, but because I have tremendous faith in our organization. I am certain they will find the best way forward and they would know how to deal with this awkward situation over there.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.